Alright guys, welcome back to the Old Glory Red Report. Today we are going to be talking about the Tulsa game coming up at the weekend. That's back at home at Papa Murphy's Park. Feels like we haven't been there in quite a while, so it'll be good to get back out there, get some tailgating going on. We'll come back with that just after this. Let's go! Alright guys, thanks for joining us again here at the Old Glory Red Report, supporter channel for the supporters, by the supporters. As always, I'm KCJ. We got Mark Anthony down at the end, Jonathan Glatz here in the middle. Today we are going to be talking about that Tulsa game. It feels like we haven't played in a while because we've had another bye, which we've had quite a few of them so far early on in this season. But we are going to be taking on Tulsa Roughnecks, a team that started off a little bit better than they're doing now. They dropped down to what, I think 12th place or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
12th, 13th, maybe 14th.
They're down there. We thought they might have a chance.
Yeah, they're in 14th.
14th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think, man? Let's start with Mark. What are your thoughts on this one?
They're in 14th now. They started off pretty well. I think we talked about it in one of our first videos this season about how surprisingly decent they were.
I think Crash even said something about like how he was watching them early, which surprised us all, but he got it right there for a minute.
Yeah, but 17 points in 15 matches. April 24th was their last win in any comp. They're winless in 8 straight games. I mean, it is what it is. This team has been, they've fallen off a cliff. They're on a downward trend. And I think they're ripe for the picking for us. We're at home. They're on the road where they've won 1 game this year. So, I mean, it's got to be one of the easier fixtures on the schedule this year.
You would think.
Yeah, and I think it's actually a perfect, assuming things go the way we're hoping they do, it's a perfect way for us to come back from a bye against a team who's been 4. They've only scored 3 in their last 5. A couple of those games they've been scoreless, obviously. I think 3 out of the games they didn't score. 2 they scored 1, and the other they scored 2, I think. And both of those one of those was a loss and one of those was a tie, I believe. And with a team with that form, and us with momentum, it's a good way. I'm worried about, especially the amount of buys we have, coming back with maybe a little bit of complacency, not fully mentally prepared. But this is a good way for us to get started and get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. This is also a team that doesn't do very well away from home. They're currently 1-4-3 away from home, only getting 1 victory on the road. Like you said, we're a team coming into this in confidence at Papa Murphy's Park, where we tend to play pretty well, at least better than we do on the road most of the time. I think this should be a 3 points for us. Some of the guys we're going to be looking at this one, we talked about it a little bit for head. Lobo, center back, getting 7 goals. What do you think on the guys we're going to look out on this one?
Yeah, I mean, center backs scoring that frequently is definitely impressive and eye-opening. Most of his goals have come off, obviously, headers, so that tells you set pieces are going to be critical. When a center back is up there for headers, they're coming off set pieces, corner kicks. It's going to be crucial to not allow corners, 100%. To not allow free kicks. We're looking at a team that they've scored 24 goals, but they're very good on set pieces. So if you limit that and make them beat you in the run of play, then I feel very confident. If it's a game where like we saw against the Earthquakes, for example, Bijev with that rash challenge. You don't want to do that anywhere outside of the area, and obviously...
you don't want to give them that opportunity.
Yeah, obviously don't give up any silly corners, so I think if we can do that, then we'll be successful. But yes, like John pointed out, the rust factor, I mean, we haven't played. By the time the match begins on Saturday, it'll be a week and a half. So you do kind of expect maybe a slower start just to get in the flow of things, because ultimately the practice field is not a game situation. You can make it so as much as you can, but until you get onto the pitch against an opponent that's coming in, you just never know. So
especially getting up to game speed, actual game speed.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, looking at that, I think that's a key. Limit set plays, limit corner kicks, and I think that'll be a good recipe for a win on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, another guy to look out for is Rodrigo Da Costa. He has 7 assists so far, and he also leads in chance created for them. And like Mark was talking about on those set pieces, he's the one that's going to be whipping that ball across for him. He's the one that's going to be trying to get that touch into the box to a guy like Lobo, who's going to put that into the net. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I think right now what we need to do is something that we've done really well at times is play kind of at first until we get warmed up into the game and can fully execute. Play a little bit further back. We have a good counterattacking team who can counterattack really well. Let them possess the ball, but do what we did for a long time against the Quakes. Obviously, ultimately, it didn't pay off. They're a very skilled team, but we bent a lot, but we didn't bent Quake. We played good defense. So, what I'd like to see from us with this match, play some good D. Let us get settled into the match. Maybe do some counter attacks before, let the guys kind of figure out where they're at, what they want to do before we go forward. Not obviously avoid stupid mistakes, but I'd like to see counter attacking.
That's a big key.
Yeah,
I
I
want
know.
to point out, do you guys remember what happened? I know Casey does, but for you watching at home, if you remember last season at all, the last time we played Tulsa at home, it was one of the more frustrating games of the entire season. We drew that game, right?
We did, yeah.
1-1, but we were losing really early, like 5th minute. I think old Republic player Rivas got on the score sheet, right?
Yeah, and it was like they were attacking the away end, so
Yeah.
it was a very dramatic scene. I know exactly
Their
what
keeper went down, I think, 3 or 4 times with injury.
Fabian!
I never have seen a team rely on time-wasting tactics so early in a match before. I mean,
And it was the whole game, too. It was non-stop, just laying down the whole game.
yeah. So I
never go full
hope
Tulsa.
we don't see that experience happen again for competitive and for just the sheer, I don't know, enjoyment of it all. Like, no one really enjoyed that game at all.
If they do something like that, we got to call for them to be relegated. So maybe they can be a good team in the next.
It was
division.
so bad that
Go down to
we
League One?
here at the Old Glory Red Report call it the full Tulsa. You never want to go full
You
Tulsa.
never go full Tulsa.
And that's been a running joke for quite some time. So hopefully Tulsa doesn't go full Tulsa again.
We all have that good old memory there. Tulsa is a team that recently has not had a defensive strength, if you would. They got 24 goals for and 28 goals against. And we're a team that's starting to find a little rhythm. Against San Jose, we got a few in. We've been putting multiple goals up. I think we have back-to-back 3-goal games, which is very...
Yeah, and 3
unique
goals
for us.
against an MLS side too. That's something to.
Yeah, so looking at that, I mean, do you think this is a game where we can go and do that again? Maybe get 2 or 3, maybe even 4 goals in this one? John?
I would say definitely, and I think that we should. I think we should probably see. I remember Cam did this a lot last season. He got a lot of braces. I expect Cam to get another brace. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think also we need to be wary of letting them score an early goal. That's been something that's hurt us a lot. They score an early goal and we kind of lose. I mean, our mentality kind of is shaken. So yeah, I think we need to get a lot of goals, and I think we need to make sure we don't concede early.
Be good for the goal difference.
Yeah, I expect to see a similar approach to how the guys took on San Antonio.
Yeah.
A home game, a team that is not as good, and our guys pressed them super high. It was a 2-1 win, so it wasn't the most comfortable of victories, but we saw from the opening whistle how high the team was defending, creating those turnovers, and I think we'll see something similar because I kind of rate Tulsa and San Antonio in the same not good enough for the playoffs category, in that 12 to 15 range.
Just shy of the wild
probably.
cards.
Yeah, so I think a team, I mean, obviously reeling like Tulsa is, you don't want to give them any confidence. You obviously don't want to let them score early, but I don't even think you want to let them see the ball. I know
Press
that
and control possession.
I know that we are a counter-attacking team, but you can press and hold possession. And I think against San Antonio, that was a good indicator of what we might see Saturday.
Yeah, and when we put Bijev and Warner in, we kind of saw it against San Jose when that combination was in. We can retain the ball a little bit more than maybe we were with Horde playing up high, or who we have over there.
Blackwood.
Blackwood, yeah, playing over there. And we don't hold retain possession as much as maybe a Bijev will, who can take on a few defenders, move the ball in better places. So that's probably going to be what we're going to see in this too. Speaking of the players that are going to be there, what do we think the lineups are going to be? We'll start with Mark and we'll kind of work down.
I think we're going to see a similar lineup to what we've seen the last couple games. I think we'll have a Was up top again.
Yeah. It's been working.
I don't see a reason why you wouldn't go to it right now. Even if you don't do it every single game, the team's playing well lately. Seems like the offense is churning better than it has at any point in the
Really
season.
has.
So I think you start off with Awasa, Werner, and Bijev, and then you work your way down. I think those three have to start in their respective areas. And then you look at attacking mid, Skundrich, he could start there. Maybe we see a guy like Partain or Villarreal get some minutes there. I think Ray Sari is a must. If he's healthy, he's playing.
Yep.
And then in the back, McCrary and Gomez are musts for me. And then the center back, we talked about this recently. We have some options now. Mahoney's been playing well. Kynan, he should be back. He should be rested. Harris, Tainer coming back from an injury. I'm not sure if he's ready to go. It looked like he's been practicing. So
He had some early good form for us.
absolutely. So I'm not sure who the two in the center will be. It's going to be interesting, and I think the reason why I'm most interested to see who will be starting center backs this Saturday is I think it's a good indication of what Elliott thinks his best two are going forward.
Now, I would actually tend to agree with Mark. I think we have to stick with a very similar lineup. I think we have to go. We have to go with the Walsh up top. He is really our only goal scorer at the moment, other than
He's putting him in
Yeah.
right now. He's unformed, so
Why not? Well, and he's one of our best players so far,
Sure.
arguably on this season. So you've got to keep playing.
and
him.
in
As long
franchise
as-
history.
Well, yeah, and as long as he's fit, you're playing him. So yeah.
Yeah, but I know they like to drop him back a little bit, but the biggest thing for me is you got to keep him up top. Obviously, Sam Warner's been scoring goals for us too. We got to
He's a
see
must.
him in.
He's a must.
Bijev, I know early on we kind of commented how much of a difference he would make if he came on, especially when he was injured. But we've seen he has made a big difference. Be it freeing guys up, doing runs in the box, good passes. So those are the musts for me. The back line, like Mark said, it's a little bit iffier. I'm still not sold on McCrary. So I think we'll see him in. I know he's a good player. I don't think he's settled yet, and that's probably why I'm unconvinced on him. I know I say this a lot. I would like to see Horde play because he's really good at crossing the ball. He's really good at creating chances. I'd like to see him in the back line better than up forward.
Maybe we'll see Barahona.
Yeah, I'd really like that. That's what I was going to say
Could
next.
be a start. He's in the training camp now, apparently. So
Yeah, and I'd like to see him. Start,
Was
or
he
at least get some
picked to go
some
to
time.
Gold Cup at all?
I don't think so.
I thought he had been.
I heard he
but-
got a call up to the camp.
Okay, so
and
he
then
probably
he
got
got
released. I see. So yeah, if he's in the team, I kind of feel like he's gonna play, whether that's as a starter or off the bench, just because at some point you got to bring him in.
And he's not a guy they signed to be a backup. He's
Yeah.
definitely someone they signed to provide.
You got to see
some
what you
solidity.
have in him, right? Like I'm not saying like who he replaces deserves to be replaced, but at some point, this guy's been on the roster now for a few weeks. He's been in the camp. He's been with the team. He's been on the bench, but maybe this is the game where he gets a start or he comes on in the 70th minute or something.
And I think Coach Elliott really wanted. And maybe this is just me.
It's probably just you.
Yeah,
Most likely just
but it's like it feels to me like Kynan has a lot of really good experience.
Oh, yeah.
He's obviously our captain, but I think
Experience
those are going to
is
be
also another synonym for old. We have a lot of experience as
Yeah,
a team.
yeah.
So.
But I also think that both
Season.
Kynan and Barahona are basically central for what he wants to plan for the defense. So I think
It's
he's a
interesting.
must.
It's interesting. I wonder too. When they signed Barahona, I thought another defender, another outside back, because we just signed McCrary, and he was obviously. I think McCrary is good enough to be a regular starter, even if he's not an every week starter. But we were thinking we kind of needed more of an attacking player rather than another defender. Does Barahona get a look at wing? We don't know anything about him, right?
I don't know enough about
So
him
we
to
don't
tell you.
know how crafty he is with the ball, right? We've seen Horde get a chance to play wing,
Yeah.
and we know Horde is really good at crossing the ball. That's a strength of his. Maybe that's where Elliott envisions Barahona playing too. We don't know.
Which the coach has played players in positions that I've been I mean, okay.
You
Like again,
disagreed with?
yeah. I mean, I don't like Horde up front. I mean, he usually plays him for.
He's not a natural winger.
No.
I mean, he really is playing out of position.
But he also, when he plays Owasa back, Owasa's got a lot of talent there, but that's not his position. I mean, those are the two main
Owasa's
examples I have right here.
An out-and-out striker.
He's an out-and-out
And
striker.
that's
Yeah.
where he needs to be playing. I think we can all agree on that
But
now.
I mean, to Mark's point, coach has made some interesting decisions on where he wants his players.
You could see it too, since it is a weaker opponent. In theory, you might see him tinker with the lineup a little bit. I mean,
That's what I think that's going to happen.
you know, because there are some tougher fixtures coming up. Reno, Fresno are on the docket here in the next couple games. I mean, we know that those are teams that are currently higher up in the standings than us, and going to be tough games. So.
And I wonder if he starts like Blackwood or
That's
I don't know if
another
Blackwood's-
player.
I don't know if
Blackwood
he's-
should be
I don't know
returning.
if he's still on the injury list or not. Though.
I don't think
Not-
he is. I mean, I haven't.
I
looked.
believe there was a picture posted where they were training, where he was
Okay, I
in
didn't see that.
But I'm not 100%.
Because, I mean, for me, you know, obviously I'm no head coach, but you want all your strikers to have confidence, and you want all your strikers to score, and so far it's only Cam.
If he is
So-
back, I could maybe see him coming off the bench and getting 20 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
I do agree that we probably will see some rotation. The coach does really, really enjoy his rotation. Elliott is a big fan of, like you said, playing players kind of even out of place just to get rotation in there for me. But Iwasa is up top 100%. I think we can all agree on that.
I think he needs to be,
What will Casey's reaction be come Saturday night? Couple beers in ya, lineup is posted, Bonemo's up top.
Hey, go for it, I guess. But I think Bonomo's had
That's
his
not
chance.
what your reaction would be. You would be, what is this?
I can see the coach doing that. Is the only reason I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah,
be
yeah,
surprised. Like, if I would think that was a surprise, I might get angry. I might throw something. But I could honestly see Elliott putting Bonomo back on up top in this game.
and would you be opposed to it?
What are you gonna throw?
I don't know. Chair, well, they're all locked down.
Course.
Now.
There's children at these games.
I'm not throwing my beer. We know that.
Yeah.
For not
know
really
that.
know.
But I could definitely see him doing that because he does do rotation and he believes in Bonomo. He's used him so many times when he's maybe should have cut him. And it is a thing. It might happen. We don't know. I believe Bijev and Warner get the start. I believe Villarreal will be in the middle of the front three there, and
see that for
Iwasa
sure.
up top. I think Skundy gets the start in the a little bit more
The
higher
eight.
up center mid. He's earned it. I think he's been very good for us recently. He's good on the ball. He gets forward when he needs to, but he's also getting back and doing his defensive work. He did get the goal the other day too, which was fantastic for him. So I put them in. In the back line, I would like to see Berahino come in. I think that would be a good game to get him in and get some minutes, but I think he'll come off the bench if he does come in. I don't think he starts. I think we see Kynan and Harris in the back.
I want to see Partain get some minutes, man.
I would too. I would like that too.
He's been a good player for us the last 2 years when he's played, and I know he's dealt with some injuries, but he has been on the bench the last couple games, and I think he's a little bit of a craftier player than some of our other players. So I like his quickness. I like him getting on the ball and starting attacks. So we'll see.
We're not even seeing him come off the bench anymore because last season we used him off the bench a lot
Right.
to add that little spark in like the 70th, 80th minute when we needed to get over the line or we were looking for that last goal. We
Sure.
haven't even seen that from him this year. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I agree with you on that. I do agree with John on McCrary has been great defensively, but going forward he lacks a lot for me.
I think that goes for both of our backs.
And I
right?
would say Gomez is the same way. He's terrific defensively, but going forward. So maybe Berahino on the wing, I don't know what his ability is, but playing out wide. Or even getting Horde back in there in this particular game where we know we're going to press higher and we're going to try to control possession. You get a guy like Horden that can offer a little bit more going forward when you know you might not have as much defensive work to do.
Yeah, I really hope to see a aggressive game plan from minute one. The San Antonio game I thought was perfect in terms of setting the tone and carrying it through for 90 minutes, but you could tell from minute one there was no getting back into it. And I know there will be some rust, right? Like there's a week and a half off, there will be some rust. But you can overcome that by playing hard and by putting the other team in bad positions and not yourself. So it's much easier to lose the ball in their half than your own half, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, so let's jump over to score predictions, our favorite part of this whole thing. We'll start with John. What is your score prediction on this Sacramento versus Tulsa game?
I'm calling it 3-0 for Republic. I expect our defense will probably make us angry a couple times, but I think there will be Cohen there to save us. I see Cam with another brace, and maybe Bijev gets his first of the year.
That'd be nice.
Go ahead.
I was going to go 3-1. I agree with John on the fact that I think we'll get some goals here. We've been in good form, and this is a team giving them up. But they've also a team that are getting some too, as we talked about with Lobo getting forward and getting some headers in. We have been kind of weak on set pieces ourselves. We have not defended them that good, and some of those taller guys that we thought were going to work out for us just haven't been getting the clearances and not winning the aerial duels we thought they would. So for me, we give up one on a set piece late on in the game, maybe 60 or 70 minutes, something like that. 3-1.
I'm going to go with 2-0. I do think we will win this game handily. I don't think we'll score 3 goals every single game, but, it could be one of those games where we do. I think 2-0, I think we do enough defensively with Cohen back there as well in case we do have some cracks. I think he'll save us.
Yeah, none of us talked about the goalkeeper when we did our story,
we just know
but
he's
we
there.
automatically just choose Cohen. It's a default.
So I got a nice 2-0 win, which I think would be pretty solid. I think we should have won against San Antonio by a larger score line, but I still don't see us as a offensive juggernaut.
No.
I hope we score 3 goals, so I hope you guys are more correct on the score line than I am, but ultimately I think we can all 3 agree that if we don't get 3 points on Saturday, we'll take it as a bad result, no matter what.
It'll be a disappointing loss. Yeah, this
Or
is one we should.
a draw.
No,
if we
I'm
draw,
gonna count
that's-
a draw
that's
as a loss.
that's a disappointment.
Because right now we need, with the way the form is, with the way the games are, we need 3 points to stay up in top contention.
Fixtures are going to get more difficult for going into July and most of July. We are currently in the playoffs, yes, but we don't want to be in that are we in, are we out week to week. We want to be what seed
So
are we
if-
going
if-
And
to.
we definitely don't want to be a wild card
The-
playoff spot. for
Exactly.
If things go the way they are going exactly right now, and we went, if in a fall, obviously games difference, we could potentially be in second place right now if we win our next 2 games and everybody else stays where they're at.
Right.
I mean, right now we've got 2 games in hand on almost everybody. We're in 8th place
Yep.
with 20 points.
We're
The
in a good
leader right
spot.
now is Phoenix, is 29. They've got 15 games.
Yep.
Doing the math, we are right up there with the top.
That win against New Mexico United was a huge relief on a lot of fronts to regain form and to get us back into that. Not only are we in the playoff zone, but we're in striking distance of first place, second place. They're really good spots to finish the season in. So, score, you said 3.
3-1.
Who did you pick for your goal scores? Because John picked his.
I'm going to go with Iwasa gets one. I think Warner gets another one.
That's a cheap pick,
And
right?
I would like
It's only the person you
I
can.
would like Bijev to get one. I'm going to say we have 3 different goal scorers.
No
in this one.
Warner?
Iwasa,
The
Warner,
dude is
Bijev.
second in
I
our
said
team.
Warner. Warner's
Okay.
my second goal.
My bad, I didn't hear you. I tuned you out.
Iwasa, Warner, Bijev. I know Iwasa and Warner are the 2 on form right now, so I imagine they could get on the score sheet. Bijev's working his way back. If he gets one, that'd be amazing for him and the team. So
I got one of our center backs scoring a goal. I don't know which one it will be because we have 4 that are capable. I think 3 have scored this year, right? I think Tynan's the only one who hasn't.
Harris,
And Mahoney.
Mahoney.
So I got a center back scoring off of a set play.
So let's go, Kynan. Come on, get on it.
Yeah. And Iwasa. I'll take the cheap option as well. I'm taking a risk, but I'm also
It's
playing a
not the
safe
cheap
one
option,
too.
it's a sure thing. All right, guys, we appreciate you watching this video. Do put your score predictions below. We love to hear it. We appreciate your feedback on that as well. If you have your comments on who you think is more about this game and what you think is going to happen, also with those comments below, we'd love to hear it. Mark Anthony, Jonathan Glatz, KCJ here. We do appreciate you watching this, and until next time, peace, guys.
The class.
Thanks again for watching our video, guys. You can find other videos here and here. You can find us online, of course. Old Glory Red Report on Facebook, Old Glory Red on Instagram, Twitter. We're on the Beautiful Game Network, of course. Fort Rock Brewing is where we shoot these videos, so check out Fort Rock Brewing. Great place, great beer. And again, we just thank you for your support.